Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. In China's thousands of years of feudal history, men were the absolute protagonists of the times. They either donned armor and went to battle across the vast deserts or played politics and caused turbulence in the court. These figures were as numerous as the stars in the sky throughout China's dynasties, all of them being charismatic historical figures. However, in the thousands of years of Chinese history, there were also many outstanding women who were no less than men in terms of political acumen or martial arts prowess. Empress Dowager Cixi of the Qing dynasty was undoubtedly a remarkable and legendary woman in China's thousands of years of history. She was a concubine of Emperor Xianfeng but gradually emerged in the political struggles of the Qing dynasty for several decades, controlling the court. She, along with Wu Zetian and Empress Lv, were among the few female politicians who ruled during China's imperial era. They were known for their strong and capable political skills. Meanwhile, her life was very legendary. Some believe that the Qing dynasty perished under her hands, while others believe that she single-handedly kept the dying Qing dynasty alive. After her death, the Qing dynasty also perished. During her reign, China's politics and social life underwent tremendous changes. She also became one of the most controversial figures in Chinese history. However, a photo stored in a museum in the United States revealed her true face, which fully encapsulated Cixi's life. The starting point of Empress Dowager Cixi's legendary life was opening the door to her life through a beautiful encounter. When she first met Emperor Xianfeng, she was attracted by his deep gaze and couldn't help but be moved. Emperor Xianfeng was also impressed by Cixi's beauty and talent, deciding to keep her by his side. As time went on, their feelings for each other deepened. Cixi was not satisfied with being just one of the emperor's concubines. She wanted more power and status. For this reason, she constantly studied and researched politics, keeping herself alert and sharp. Emperor Xianfeng appreciated her talent and efforts, and her status continued to rise. However, she was not satisfied with this, and understood that only by bearing a son could she further solidify her position. So, she began a 4-year-long pregnancy journey. Cixi put in a lot of effort for this, following the principles of traditional Chinese medicine to maintain her health, taking medicine regularly, and guiding the flow of her qi and blood through various methods, hoping to conceive a prince. After 4 years of hard work, a son named Zai Chun was finally born to Empress Dowager Cixi's side during the Xianfeng era. Perhaps the name is unfamiliar, but he was later known as the Tongji Emperor. This tiny life gave Cixi an unprecedented sense of accomplishment and satisfaction, and also made her position more secure. However, the birth of her child did not stop Cixi's ambitions. She continued to control the imperial harem and the government as her own responsibilities. Cixi also increasingly realized that her son was only a necessary condition for maintaining her position, rather than the only condition. She needed more means, more ruthless means. So she began her own political struggle. She was well versed in using palace politics, mastered many means such as using interests as bait, secretly connecting officials, creating divisions, and monopolizing power. Although Cixi's methods were ruthless, their effects were significant, and her position became increasingly stable in the court and among the people. By the mid-19th century, imperial power in China was gradually declining, and Cixi's rise was accompanied by power struggles and political conspiracies. After the 8 ministers were removed from power, Cixi began a more brutal power struggle to ensure her rule. The reformists represented by the military minister, Zhuo Zongtong, were also purged by the Qing court. At the same time, Cixi began large-scale construction projects to showcase her glory and power. She built the Summer Palace, renovated magnificent buildings such as Beijing's Western Hills, and built the tall and spectacular walls of the Forbidden City. These projects not only consumed a lot of wealth but also required thousands of workers and artists to work tirelessly. However, these construction projects did not change the crisis facing China, nor did they make Cixi's rule more secure. By the early 20th century, Chinese society and economy faced unprecedented challenges, and Cixi's corruption and ignorance eventually led to the downfall of the Qing dynasty. Cixi's power did not earn her true respect, and her rule did not leave any desirable legacy. After taking over the government as a regent, Empress Dowager Cixi began her reign, showing a determination to govern the Qing dynasty and introducing some changes to the political system. She reformed the administration, promoted Han officials, and with the support of foreign powers, suppressed the Taiping Rebellion, which greatly alleviated the political crisis in the Qing dynasty. With the rise of the self-strengthening movement, Cixi initially strongly supported the movement and actively introduced Western technology and culture. She provided great assistance to the Qing government in finance, military, and diplomatic affairs, leading to a brief period of prosperity for the Qing dynasty. However, despite her seemingly patriotic actions, Cixi remained a pleasure-seeking old lady at heart, as demonstrated by her confused decision-making in the rebuilding of the old summer palace. In a time of national crisis, she chose to spend a huge amount of money restoring the old summer palace, which caused a lot of opposition. By this time, Cixi was in a high position of power and no longer tolerated dissenting opinions. She cared only about the old summer palace, and nothing else mattered. This event greatly changed Cixi's image in the eyes of the people, making her a controversial figure. Cixi's later life was destined to be tragic. After experiencing the loss of her husband and son, she seemed to lose all motivation and confidence. For a passionate woman like her, the pain of losing a child was undoubtedly an unbearable blow. Her political ambitions vanished, and she became passive and no longer actively pushed for policies. This was especially evident after she chose her nephew, Puai, as the new emperor. Cixi gradually became addicted to the enjoyment of power rather than actively governing the country. However, Cixi's passivity did not bring a peaceful old age. On the contrary, she had to face pressure and bullying from Western powers. In order to maintain the country's dignity and autonomy, Cixi had to yield to various unfavorable treaties and agreements. Her ability to govern was also greatly questioned, and even more difficult to accept was her extreme measures to suppress the 100 Days Reform, which completely killed off the hope of political reform in the late Qing dynasty. This behavior not only damaged the interests of the country, but also seriously damaged her reputation. In the end, Cixi spent her later years amidst a chorus of criticism. Her reign was destined to be full of twists and turns. Although she had once had the ambition to govern with determination, she ultimately chose to sink into passivity and negativity, which was a tragic ending. At this time, she also became increasingly fascinated with foreign photography and left behind many photos, particularly the one collected by the American Museum, which allowed us to witness this amazing figure. Empress Dowager Cixi is a controversial figure in the history of the Qing dynasty, and her image has often been distorted in history. However, her love for photography shows that she also had a common side like ordinary people. For the time, the camera was a very high-tech thing, and for Cixi, it was a novel experience. She quickly fell in love with this new technology, and was eager to capture her own image. This was an experience she had never had before, and it was also a manifestation of her continuous openness to the outside world. However, over time, Cixi's hobbies became increasingly eccentric. She even began to believe that she was the reincarnation of Guanyin, so she was extremely obsessed with playing the role of a bodhisattva, and even demanded that these scenes be recorded with a camera. This not only showed her hobbies but also reflected her worship of herself and her vanity. Nevertheless, her curiosity about the outside world never waned. Cixi also enjoyed taking photos with foreign diplomats' wives, which demonstrated her open attitude towards Western culture. She constantly learned and tried new things, and in the American Museum, there is an image of Cixi in her old age, where we can see her wearing a gorgeous dalakiji, adorned with pearls and jewels, full of luxury and dignity. She was a well-preserved elderly woman. There is no denying that Cixi had many criticized behaviors, but in terms of cultural exchange, she showed a truly open attitude. Cixi experienced too many ups and downs in her life. She lived in the palace, enjoying the ultimate luxury life brought by power and wealth, but she also deeply felt the absurdity and emptiness of power. The power she once had eventually became the evidence of her destruction. Power is a ruthless thing. It can make people arrogant and lose their basic humanity. We can see this from Cixi. She used every means to maintain her position, causing the whole country to sink into suffering. But at the same time, we can also see that this woman had her own helplessness and difficulties. She was not without a kind heart, but she took the wrong path in the changing times. This is History and Culture Channel. Likes and subscriptions are the greatest help and support for us. Thank you everyone. See you next time.